you, Lord Mayor. I was pleased to contribute to this inquiry, my first as a councillor, and to support the resulting recommendations and report. The first of three areas I'd like to focus on is the recommendation to build on and not lose the new connections made with disabled groups as a result of the Commonwealth Games. Sport Birmingham said this was one of their most valuable takeaways, as well as the knowledge they gained about activities taking place across the city. We must continue to listen and to talk to those in our city with lived experiences of disability and shape any future strategy with them rather than for them. Taking my own advice, I spoke at length with Yardley resident and wheelchair user Steve Portman, who founded Accessi Blues, Birmingham City Football Club's Disabled Supporters Association. Sadly, Steve's experience of the Commonwealth Games was on the one hand one of great pride, as he was a baton bearer and a volunteer, but on the other embarrassing, his words, because he was unable to make a booking for any of the disability-specific events, such as wheelchair basketball, for his group, due to the cap on the number of tickets he could purchase, which didn't take into account a carer to accompany each disabled person. By contrast, I had my own very positive experience of a free essential companion ticket for the NEC on Saturday night. I hesitate to give the Chamber an insight into my social life, but I spent the evening with 14,000 fans of the classical and waltzing musical phenomenon that is Andre Rieu. My 94-year-old mother-in-law is a big fan. So we paid for Olive's ambulant disabled ticket with her access card. We parked very closely to the main entrance with her blue badge, and she was even offered a ride in a wheelchair to her seat, an outing that wouldn't have been possible or affordable without the pass. Similar personal assistant cards are common now at football matches, and free companion tickets should be a standard at any of the council's events or venues, such as Alexander Stadium, and is recommended. Thirdly, we have called for an assessment of the city's leisure centres, as Councillor Moore just mentioned, both in terms of the accessibility of the physical building and facilities, but also in terms of the physical activity offering for disabled residents. I welcome the fact that the city's leisure centres do offer a free card for personal assistance, but there is work to be done both in terms of disabled residents being able to access general sessions, such as Be Active, and the provision of disability-specific sessions. Steve said to me, I run a disabled group and I don't know what's on offer. There isn't any provision. I'm lucky that in my ward I have a pretty new leisure centre in Stetchford, which has a pool pod for lowering disabled swimmers into water, accessible gym equipment and larger changing rooms with a disabled access shower, hoist and table. Unfortunately, what happens with the larger changing rooms, as is often the case with disabled parking bays, is they are misused, in this case by children and families. And in terms of the sessions, disabled swimmers may well be able to access the free Be Active pool session with the pod, but may struggle with buoyancy and don't want to be stared at, and so would rather have a disabled-only session. Or perhaps they would rather an autism-friendly session, where there is less noise and without any music playing over the speakers, as is usual. Wheelchair users may be able to join the Be Active gym session and use the accessible equipment, but they may also really need a trainer to proactively show them how to use the machines in the correct way. So work to be done. I'd just like to finish by thanking Councillor Deakin for the collaborative way in which he chaired the Task and Finish group, and for the constructive counter-arguments posed by his Vice-Chair, Councillor Gareth Moore. Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Councillor